I feel like I have to mess.
It's okay to talk. I'll crop out the beginning.
Okay.
Don't worry. And then I'll get the share screen on. And then I'll go into. Okay, we ready to go, guys?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to the ELI 2021 Annual Meeting. Featuring Texas A&M University System's integration of LinkedIn learning across students, employees, and faculty, and sponsored by LinkedIn Learning. Today's session focuses on Texas A&M's integration of LinkedIn learning across the campus. These two leaders will explain and share their strategies for bringing online training to Texas A&M. Let's introduce the panel. I'm Laurie Burruss, moderator for this panel and the Education Innovation Advisor at LinkedIn Learning Higher Ed since 2009. I also teach at the USC graduate program at Roski School of Art and Design, and I'm a professor emeritus at Pasadena City College. Something that isn't on my LinkedIn profile is that 2.5 years ago, I hiked all the way to Machu Picchu, 26 miles at 12,000 feet. I'm so happy to have this distinguished panel of learning leaders join us today from Texas A&M University. I'd like to give you a chance to share a little bit about yourselves, your role at Texas A&M, and within the LinkedIn learning system across your campus. So Tara, you want to give us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thank you for having us, Laurie. It's a real privilege to be a part of this. I'm Tara Gray. I'm Director of Organization Development at Texas A&M University. My department essentially supports employee leadership and organization development across the Texas A&M University community. And something interesting about myself, I just love being in nature. So in fact, I'm going on holiday to go hiking next week. I'm very excited about it.
And what about you, Roland?
So howdy, my name is Roland Block, and I'm the Associate Director of the Career Center over engineering, our 20,000 plus engineering students. And something you may not know about me, it's not in my LinkedIn profile, is the fact that I used to have curly hair before my little COVID haircut here. And in the 70s and 80s had a pretty good afro going. So that's something most people probably don't know if they hadn't seen those pictures.
Well, that's great to know. And I'm trying to imagine it right now. I'm like one of those apps where you put on those special features. I've put the agenda up front here so that as you watch the recording, you will know what's coming, and also so that you can jump to any area of particular interest. So the why. What processes did you use to evaluate a third-party vendor for online video learning at Texas A&M? What were you specifically looking for? Either one of you can take this.
Sure, I'll take that, Laurie. So I think for us, what I found out, so I come from private sector, and I've been, although I'm a former student, former current ag, actually former student at the university, and I'm relatively new to higher ed. I've been with the university as an employee for 3 years. So private sector is very familiar with LinkedIn Learning. Used it previously and always been impressed with what the quality that it offers and also the flexibility that it offers within learning and development programs. When I found out that the university had it for students, was so excited because the approach that we were taking with our employee and leadership development for our future direction, we were looking to be more blended. And I think that looking at a partner, a supplier that will help support our future direction, we were looking for quality, we were looking for flexibility and reputation, and was just ecstatic when LinkedIn Learning was being used by students, and we just we use that.
That's great news, and it is like being a partner. It really is a multi-pronged approach for Texas A&M as it continues to amplify LinkedIn learning and drive adoption. Tara, you generate opportunities that support employees in gaining professional development, and the results there are increased engagement and job satisfaction. And Roland, you are using LinkedIn learning to supplement career readiness, networking, and school-to-work initiatives. And finally, the faculty are able to discover supplemental material for their classes and upgrade their teaching skills in areas of online teaching, technology, and curriculum develop. So what other drivers are there for you in partnering with LinkedIn Learning? Any special features that really shine out for you about LinkedIn Learning? Either one of you.
I can describe this from the student perspective. And a little background, it's funny, Tara and I have a similar background in that I was in industry for 25 years, started in engineering, but had been in marketing the last 20 years and was very familiar with LinkedIn. I've been using it for over a decade now and was using LinkedIn Learning personally in my transition from engineering to marketing back when it was, I believe, Linda, way back in the day. So I personally had an understanding and knowledge of the system. From a student perspective, I'm a big fan of really engaging the students wherever they are at and how they want to be engaged. And that means that you can't just always be teaching a course or giving a presentation and hope that 20,000 students are instantly going to show up. It just doesn't work that way. So LinkedIn Learning is a tremendous tool because it allows students to learn a tremendous variety of different topics, from personal development to technical skills. And it ties in very well with LinkedIn because when you help train a student on how to use LinkedIn, they can find the skills that professionals have in the exact position, in the exact company, in the exact industry they're looking for. And now they can see what are their skills gaps. And it's very easy just to jump over to LinkedIn Learning and start working on those skills right away.
That's great news. And it's great news for you at Texas A&M. Look at the data here. 80% of your students have already adopted and used LinkedIn Learning across your system. And as you said, Tara, there's some just great things about the content, the quality of the content, and the data and insights that you mentioned, Roland. So one of the things that it's hard to do is to make a case across a system or across a university enterprise. How do you work that out at Texas A&M? How do you let everybody buy into this LinkedIn Learning partnership?
Well, I think I can speak to us from an employee and leadership development standpoint. The direction that we're going is really amplifying what that is and improving, or actually our vision is transforming employee leadership development across the university, and amplifying and elevating what that looks like. And I think this becomes part of it. I will say that the current state of learning and development in the private sector is this more blended approach. Where we're using self-directed, where we're using things like LinkedIn Learning, on the job experiences, and then face-to-face or virtual. So it's a blended approach. And that's new to higher ed. I learned that quickly when I got here. That's new to higher ed. And we were a little concerned about whether or not the community would adopt that. Now, the pandemic has helped that. And I can tell you that our pilot that we are doing right now for our frontline leadership development is the first that's truly blended, and hands down people are saying it's awesome, that they think everybody should go through it. I don't know if we can require it. I'm not a big fan of requiring too much, but I think that's a testament to this works. And as we're coming out of the pilot and the data that we get out of that pilot, being able to socialize that. On top of that, I would say that other system members within the system, so outside of Texas A&M main campus, are watching us, they're looking at us, and they're seeing what we're doing. And that's going to help adoption. They already come to us for learning and development needs. And so them being part of LinkedIn Learning will just enable their employees to participate in our leadership development programs.
Which is really a strategic difference. It's not just buying a product and putting it on the shelf and hoping people go pull it off the shelf. It's really coming up with strategies and ways of integrating it and making it useful at the time of need for whatever stakeholders out there. I know it's complicated. I've done it on my own campus at Pasadena City College, and there really is a lot that goes into it and a lot of players that go into it. It's really evaluating and creating what you said, Tara, a change plan, and kind of coming up with what that desired change is. And when you come up with those goals, it really helps you get that implementation and support that you need. And then you can go back and keep reiterating and doing this again and again. And I know that's what you guys have been doing at Texas A&M. You two are two key players at Texas A&M, but there's lots of stakeholders on a LinkedIn Learning campus. Maybe you can explain some of the other people that are also players here at Texas A&M.
Well, Laurie, I can talk a little bit about just sort of my small sphere. I've been training on LinkedIn for 3 years now at Texas A&M plus, just as regular training presentations for students. And lo and behold, I realized that faculty and staff, various employees were coming in and wanting to listen and asking if they could join in on the student presentations because there was so much valuable information. And so I've been giving presentations to the foundation, which works with employers and donations, that group, on how to use it for targeting. I've talked to various different departments on how to utilize it. So it's something that LinkedIn is a key tool that just about every professional out in industry has. But then once you take it to the academic environment, it's not as common. And so once we start exposing them to that environment and what the capabilities are of LinkedIn Learning and LinkedIn and using those together, which is such a powerful combination, that's when you get awareness. And now I'm not having to promote it. I'm having people asking me, hey, can you help train me on how to do this? Can you talk to my staff or my team so we can talk to alumni or research who the right people are, or even in our ads are like an HR group. They're saying, wow, you have a really strong LinkedIn following. Can you help promote this position we're trying to find, or reach out to your connections? So it's across the university where people are starting to realize, wow, this is a very powerful tool. And that's what I consider it. It's one of many powerful tools we have. And if you're not taking advantage of it, you're really missing out on just a huge database and metrics that you could use to really help make educated decisions.
Laurie, if I can add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Roland, you can speak to it. But one of the things that fascinated me that I didn't know LinkedIn Learning did, and we put this into the business case when we socialized trying to get other system members on board with adopting LinkedIn Learning, was that it actually has, and I'm not an IT person, so I'm not going to have the technical lingo here, but it does a lot of analytics on the back end. And when there's a gap in the market, it actually will push content. For example, if there's engineering students who it's maybe a down economy, it knows that and it pushes content like programming content for them to ramp up on that, like Python, et cetera, for engineering students. And I think that is something that happens, which is another attractive aspect of LinkedIn Learning from a student standpoint. Is that true that it does that?
It's absolutely true. One of the things that we've worked really hard on in the last few years at LinkedIn Learning is to do a taxonomy, which is to identify 50,000 skills. And we've matched those skills by meta tags to the courses and to the jobs that are available and to the profiles that people have. And that allows us to do a lot better job of matching skills than providing skills that we think are what we call birds of a feather skills. If you watch this course, you might want to watch that course. If you applied for this job, you might want to apply for that job. And you can see by having those meta skills tagged to every part of the learning and job hunting and professional process that you can really help people learn continuously throughout their career. So Roland, you were really specific there. It's about marketing, it's about adoption, it's about engagement strategies, and really it's about word of mouth, getting it out there, really being fresh with all the words. And you've done a great job there at Texas A&M, increasing awareness of LinkedIn Learning. I know that when you bought it in 2019, you really urged everybody to get hooked, but it was mostly students that got hooked. And what I've seen over the last few years is that through your strategic marketing and through communication, you've been able to put LinkedIn Learning in all parts of the Texas A&M website, on different portals for teaching, training, learning portals, and they target employees, students, and faculty. And you can find it just about everywhere when you search on the Texas A&M University website. I really appreciate that it's kind of everywhere and sort of nowhere at the same time. And I know that you're continuing to roll out and refresh the university, which is leading me to my favorite part of this panel today, where we go do the deep dive on some of your cool strategic initiatives that you're partnering with LinkedIn Learning on. So let's take a deeper dive into what you're doing in human resources, the Career Center, and with student success. So Tara, you're leading a long-term L&D project called Leading Self. I'd love to hear about a little bit about the history, your strategies, where you are in that plan, and how you're going to implement it.
Yeah, so Leading Self is actually is one of the programs, new programs in our future direction. So we actually have a 4-level framework for leadership development, and Leading Self is the first level under the context that you do not have to be a supervisor or manager to be a leader at the university. And so everything we do is very competency based. And we're tying that into other human capital system areas. But from an employee and leadership development standpoint, the Leading Self program is targeting all employees across the university. And this is the one that the team that's working on this have been very innovative for academic or higher ed, where it's a blended approach, a combination of virtual instructor-led, face-to-face instructor-led, leveraging LinkedIn Learning as pre-work before you come into those virtual or face-to-face sessions, and also some on-the-job activities. So truly blended. And we use that face-to-face for more hands-on application. And through this, and each competency that we're trying to develop has that blended approach. And so we're really excited about that. Again, this is the one I was referring to. I think it's very innovative for higher ed. We were a little apprehensive considering the affinity for more face-to-face. And I'm pleased to say that the pilot is hands down. People are saying it's fantastic. It's going to be a game changer for the university. So we're having great success there, and I can't wait till we finish the pilot and can roll this out. So very much looking forward to that.
Well, that's a pretty bold and comprehensive plan if everybody can have a role here in leadership, which is going to really change the culture and the behaviors at the university level, which is, it's great. And it also means that everybody has the same vocabulary for understanding where they are in this process and how they can help each other. It's not just fend for yourself. It's everybody rises because you're rising too. I love that approach. It's really great. It is really innovative and ambitious, Tara, really ambitious. You're going to be launching it in the pilot in December. Is that correct?
Well, the pilot's going on right now, Laurie, and we should be launching it. We're trying to line things with ATD's Association for Talent Development's Employee Learning Week, December 6th through 10th. And that's when we'll launch it, and we'll have the first delivery in the spring. Again, it's multi-competencies, it's blended, it's also modular. So people don't have to take the whole program over a period of time. They can take competencies that they want to take in. That's part of being in line with current practices. And that's just one of our programs. We've got a lot of other programs we're going on, and I'm sure we'll be leveraging LinkedIn Learning since Leading Self is being successful.
Well, I really appreciate that what you're doing is creating programs and plans and implementations that can be practiced by other members of your system, and that by creating a framework, you're making it adaptable for whatever campus or whatever university needs that, and then they can plug in their players and plug in those meetings, those trainings, those learning sessions. That's a great idea, and it's a faster way to implement and try to, instead of making everybody independently do it in the medieval way that universities like to do things, kingdom by kingdom.
I think that's one of the other benefits of this, hearing the other system members saying, look, we're smaller. can you help us, being the big, campus that we are. And so I think part of this blended approach enables that. So it allows the other system members, no matter where they are, in the state, even the world, like Qatar, to participate in certain aspects of the program, even all of the aspects of the program, rather than being on themselves and having to recreate something locally, which is actually less efficient and less cost effective, for the greater system. So I think this is a win from that standpoint as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really important issue to make. It's an accessibility issue. It makes it possible for a small campus, a large campus, an urban campus, and a rural campus to all be on a level playing field, and to make sure that everybody has that same rich environment, that same rich experience of learning. And therefore, that passes on to the faculty, it passes on to the students, it passes on to the community in which each one of these universities resides. It's a really great idea, Tara. And now, Roland, I want to turn to you and talk a little bit about what you're doing at the Student Center and the Career Center. I know you're doing a lot of stuff, so just give us a little walkthrough of what's going on and some of the things that you're doing specifically.
Well, I think a few interesting examples which might illustrate how this could be used is going back to when COVID hit, and we have a good number of students that had their summer internships rescinded. And that was not fun. And I know everybody here had that same type of situation. And the Student Engineers Council, the College of Engineering, Engineering Entrepreneurship, the Career Center, we got together, put our heads together, and created a self-directed internship, basically, where it was an opportunity that students had to work with some of the professors of practice, industry, volunteers, mentors. And part of that was, yes, career development, a presentation, but also a part of that was LinkedIn Learning as well. So they worked on basically a virtual internship that they developed the skills that would help them in their career. And we actually went through the career competencies and as a group. And so they had, communication skills. They worked on projects. And even though they're engineers, they worked on business plans. And how do you develop those skills? That's where, depending on where they were and what they needed, they could use LinkedIn Learning. And there was a requirement for a certain number of LinkedIn Learning courses, maybe a certificate or two. So it was really dependent on what they were needing. So that absolutely was very important in helping those students in a time where they were looking for experience and could gain those experiences. When I talk to students about their resumes, and let's say they have may not have an internship sometimes, then what are you doing to develop yourself? You could do your own self-directed internship and get certifications, and also look to see what are the skills that professionals have and how can you get those skills. There's tremendous courses here at A&M where students can get those, but you might be remote over a summer. You might be having an internship and still want to continue to develop your skills in the evening. Well, you can do that at any time. So that was a big help. The other thing that we are facing during some of these COVID times was certain sectors were hit harder than others. And the energy sector was hit particularly significantly, because not just of the working remotely, which is hard for somebody for jobs that can't be remote, but also the cost of oil was down. So the sector had a double whammy. And we presented to the students and the ASME, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, also the Petroleum Engineering Professional Society. We had LinkedIn, I believe it's called Insights, where we have access to information about the industry, and we could look to see where are the skills that, let's say, a petroleum engineer or somebody in the industry that's a mechanical engineer, what are the other industries that are still looking for those same skills, and where are some of those people transitioning, to be able to provide educated information to our students about where can they go, what are the great jobs that are available to them in maybe market segments that aren't hit quite as hard.
That's great news, Roland, because I think a lot of people know that LinkedIn Learning provides great courses and content, and as you said, anywhere, anytime learning, and that you can do it with no shame, no blame, and you can develop skills. But I don't think they always realize the access to the data behind there. I mean, first and foremost, LinkedIn Learning is a professional, LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning itself do a lot of data behind the scenes, and they provide that to the clients through what we call insights. And those insights we share with admins and students, as you said, on trending skills, in-demand jobs, relevant employers. And it's based on more than 200 billion data points across our network. And so now just checking in with the students, when I looked at what students were writing on the LinkedIn network, this is just one article that your student, Chi Dinma, a Texas A&M student in biomedical engineering, says, "I wish I'd known about LinkedIn Learning earlier." I mean, that's a great comment. It just shows you that it's kind of a secret weapon, and it's something that you can put in and around all the other things that you do at Texas A&M. There's always going to be the transcript, but being able to verify your skills, being able to know that you can upgrade those skills as you need to, as problems arise, is a really big, important 21st century skill. And I was really happy to see how many A&M students have a voice on the LinkedIn network and are sharing their stories about learning and their professional journey in mechanical engineering, petroleum engineering, and all of the different things that you were mentioning, Roland. You should be really proud of your graduates. The data really tells the story at Texas A&M. Students receive full-time employment 5% faster than most of our LinkedIn people, and their network is 1.4 times larger than others on LinkedIn. Texas A&M has great skill distribution. When we compare them to other people going out into the workforce, the Texas A&M students go out 40%, 5% better prepared with their digital transformation skills. And what do I mean by digital transformation? That they can use things like SharePoint, and they can use things like Teams and Zoom, that they can share documents and work in collaborative environments and do all of those things in addition to their expertise in all of those important majors in engineering and in energy and environment that Roland was mentioning. And so to conclude, it's really a big picture, the Texas A&M strategy. It's a journey, it's a partnership, it's creating opportunity. And as Tara has said many, many times, it's this blended, multi-pronged approach. You can't just come at it from one way. So I'm giving you a chance here to Tara and Roland, as sort of your last thoughts. Let's talk about the benefits that you've seen and the outcomes that you've seen here.
Yeah, so I can talk about the benefits from human resources and the work that we're doing in transforming employee leadership development. So I think it's helping us do just that and bring us up to benchmark practices within the field. You know, moving away from that face-to-face instructor-led to a more blended modality. It also helps with, as you kind of alluded to, Laurie, summarizing what we're doing is it's really creating or enabling this more inclusivity and engagement across, and also consistency in how we develop people, not only within our own university, but even across the system for other members who would like to partake in what we're doing. So I think that that's a huge plus. So that's the benefit to us.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's moving from not counting how many users, but as you've been saying, engagement. And Roland, you talking about penetration. It's how are we affecting people? How is it deeply affecting people's outcomes? I've actually put a screenshot of what Roland was mentioning. Roland, you can talk about this a little bit. This is kind of a data insights dashboard, right? You can see that. And it's really giving that snapshot of the petroleum and engineering areas that Roland was just talking about. This is the kind of data that Roland's working with to inform the students at Texas A&M. As you can see in the slide, hiring demand in these areas is very high. And when we look at Texas A&M, it's got over 27,000 students that are graduated and are working in this area. This map is great because in just 30 seconds or less, you can see where the jobs are, what people are doing. You can see what the top players are. And then Roland, I guess you go back and share this with your students and with your staff.
Yeah, we have different reports for different majors and industries. So in engineering, we have 20 plus majors. So this is a great way to stay up to date for the different experts in the field, because we want to provide our students with accurate, up-to-date information. And there's no broader source than what we can get. And for us as career centers, we don't always have the greatest amount of resources. And this is a free resource for us, since I guess the system pays for LinkedIn Learning. So we're taking full advantage of it and providing this information to the career advisors and to students that are in relevant groups as well. And this is just one page and one tab of a multi-page report. So there's all different pearls of wisdom that you can glean out of it. I did want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I did want to say that with the student that you showed before from biomedical engineering, I take pride in that, because depending on the students in career centers, we have our own resources, whether it's Hire Aggies or Simplicity Driven or Handshake or others, where companies are coming to post jobs for students. And those are fantastic. We'll have over 4,000 companies posting over 60,000 jobs, but they're not equally distributed across all majors. Because, for instance, biomedical engineering, there are not that many companies that do recruiting on campuses, because they don't hire that many students. And what they do is there are tens of thousands of those companies, but they only hire 1 or 2 people a year, maybe, out of engineering. So it's very important for the biomedical engineering students, for instance, to understand about LinkedIn and not just go to career fairs, not just use Hire Aggies, but to really understand how to leverage LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning as well, because they have to more aggressively go out there and talk to employers and network to have the opportunities that they really want and have earned through their academic and performance.
See, even that's just a great insight. And that's where you're really making great use, Roland, of the data that we can provide through Insights, and which comes with the LinkedIn Learning Full Campus purchase. So I really love it. And I really love what schools are producing the talent, and that the Texas A&M is at the top of this slide. This makes me happy when I see this slide. Returning to that 3-pronged strategy, it's helping students stand out, it's keeping your students and employees current, and it's providing a modern learning experience, which Tara has really well defined as being blended and a multi-pronged approach, and something that works for everyone, not just for one, and at all campuses, regardless of location, economic society status. It works for everybody. So thank you so much for being with us. If you've got any last thoughts to share, this is the time, and then we'll say over and out. Any last words, Tara? Any last words, Roland?
I would just say again, thank you for having us, Laurie. And I think LinkedIn Learning has been integral and fantastic as part of our strategy and vision to really transform employee leadership development.
Then I would like to thank you as well, Laurie, and Microsoft LinkedIn Learning. Fantastic tools. I will say that at Texas A&M, we were fortunate enough to be part of a pilot for the Career Coach, which is a new platform that's coming out. And it's sort of the hot.
It launched.
It just launched now. So it's sort of the hybrid between LinkedIn Learning and LinkedIn as a whole. And it's going to give career advisors really an opportunity to become more engaged with the students, but also have students be able to do more of this on their own at their pace. So I think that this is a great time to get up to speed on LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning, as new technologies are going to continue to advance how students are able to develop the skills that they need to be successful.
Well, I have to say, you've really inspired me. And what I really like is you've given me some insight and some understanding of how to do systems design for an entire university system, how to make it work for multiple universities, how to make it work for multiple communities and stakeholders who really need it, and reveal and make it refreshed for them. I'm excited to see what you to do in the future, and I'm excited to see how Texas A&M continues to impact and create opportunity for every single member of the Texas A&M University System. I love that's your motivation and that what inspires you and really makes you work on this program. Thank you so much. And remember, the resources will be available to you, and you're welcome to contact us. And thank you for joining us. And that's a wrap, guys. We did it. Now I just have to find the little button that will let me stop the recording. I thought that was good. I thought you guys did a great job. I think we're close. Did you